Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and today Apple released iOS 18.6 Beta 2. iOS 18.6 Beta 2 is available to developers, and iOS 18.6 Public Beta 2 should be out by the time you're watching this video, or possibly tomorrow. Now, iOS 18.6 supports all iOS 18 supported devices from the iPhone XR, XS, XS Max, all the way up to the latest iPhone 16 Pro Max and 16e. However, if you're running iOS 26 Beta 2, you won't see the update as you're on a newer version. You can downgrade if you're a developer, install 18.6 Beta 2, but you would need to use a Mac or Windows computer to do that. But if you're on 18.5 or 18.6 Beta 1 and are a developer or public beta tester, you should see the update. Now, this came in at 788.5 megabytes on the iPhone 16 Pro Max and was released alongside many other updates, with iPadOS 18.6 Beta 2, macOS 15.6 Beta 2, tvOS and HomePodOS 18.6 Beta 2, along with visionOS 2.6 Beta 2 and watchOS 11.6 Beta 2. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the build number and talk about what's new. So we'll go to Settings, then we'll go to General, then About. And as you can see, the build number is 22G064D, and this particular build does not have a modem update, so there is no modem update coming from Beta 1 to Beta 2. However, overall connectivity seems to be pretty good in Beta 1. As far as new features and changes, well, this is mostly a bug fix and security update, it seems. However, in Beta 1, it was found that the update is mostly probably for the EU with regards to third-party apps and third-party app stores. If we take a look at a post here from 9to5Mac, you'll see the first new iOS 18.6 features were just detailed by Apple. So basically, it will be easier to install those third-party applications, and this is something I would love to see in the United States, but it doesn't look like they'll be there anytime soon. But basically, you can install third-party apps, third-party app stores, and it should be a little bit easier. So it looks like it will be less intrusive, and you can see the first time a user tries to install an app from a particular developer, they'll encounter a lengthy process outlined here. But for installs now, after this update, it looks like it will be simpler and less intrusive and less warnings, basically, that you're doing something you shouldn't. So that's to comply with some rules in the EU. Also, the code in iOS 18.6 hints at new AirTags. So AirTags 2 with possibly some new features, such as maybe longer battery life, better range as far as finding things, and maybe better efficiency and maybe some new features as well. But we don't know exactly what those are, but it looks like it's in the works and should be coming very soon. The other thing we could see with iOS 18.6 is the introduction of Apple Intelligence in more places. We've heard about this with China, where they're working with third-party companies to implement servers to make sure that can happen, but Apple Intelligence and Siri may first be available with iOS 18.6 in China. So that's something we've heard a lot about and seems very likely. Like I mentioned, it's a bug fix and security update, and if we take a look at the release notes here, this is something I find a bit unacceptable that I think Apple needs to update, where it says there are no new release notes for this software update. They said the same thing with Beta 1 and Beta 2, and if that were true, they shouldn't even release it. So they should at least let us know what bugs they're fixing, what they're working on, so we can provide proper feedback and help them determine if they've fixed the issue for all users. So I would love to see them do that. Of course, with this update, we expect quite a few security updates, but they never update this website until after it's released to the public. So you'll see the last ones here from iPadOS 17.7.8 and iOS 18.5. So we definitely can expect some security updates, but we won't know what they are until it's released to the public. As far as other updates, well, Apple celebrated the 10-year anniversary of Apple Music today. So you can see that on their Apple Newsroom press release, where it says, "Tune into Apple Music Radio for a broadcast celebration with hosts Zane Lowe, Ebro Darden, and special guests as they reminisce about their favorite moments from the past 10 years while looking toward the future." So I'll link this in the description below, but I can't believe it's already been 10 years. And another thing that's been a while is it's been 18 years as of yesterday since the original iPhone was introduced. The original iPhone is one I actually had. I didn't buy it when it came out the first day, but I bought it when it actually dropped in price a month or two later. So it's something I've had for a long time, the 8GB version, and I really liked using it. It was a big change for me. I looked at other smartphones at the time and wasn't a big fan, and I liked the way the iPhone first gen or 2G worked. So that's something I really appreciated, and of course it changed everything with smartphones. Whether you like it or not, it changed everything. Also, Apple updated an app they acquired not too long ago, that's Pixelmator Pro. This is something I was a bit worried about, but they updated it with some new features, and this is fairly lengthy, but basically they updated it with Apple Intelligence and some other improvements, such as voiceover improvements, as well as hover text, and some other things such as compatibility with the OM system OM1 cameras. So that's something that's been updated. Lots of information there if you go to Apple's App Store and then install the app. If you're not seeing the update, just go to the page for Pixelmator Pro and you should see it there. So it's great to see them updating that. And that's something I was a little bit concerned about, as I thought maybe there wouldn't be good notes, and there was there. So I would like to see that for iOS updates as well. Finally, another app released today that I thought I'd share, and that has to do with Google Calendar. It's now available on watchOS. So if you use Google Calendar, you'll see I installed it here wherever it is. There it is. We have Google Calendar now. So as long as you have it installed on your iPhone, you can now install it on your Apple Watch, and that's available to everyone right now. Of course, we're expecting bug fixes such as fixes to freezes and crashes, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connectivity, which seem to be pretty good so far, so no real complaints as far as that goes. When it comes to the next releases, well, we do expect releases every couple of weeks, but based on what we've seen in the past, now that we're at Beta 2, I would expect Beta 3 in 2 weeks, and then once we get to Beta 4 or the release candidate, we could see weekly releases. So probably at this point, we'll see a release on July 14th, and then of course iOS 18.6's public release maybe at the end of July. However, I think most people are looking forward to iOS 26 Beta 3, and I would expect that as soon as July 7th. With the public beta maybe a couple days later, and then of course betas throughout the summer with a public release sometime in September. So things are moving along quickly with iOS 26, and that's really where their focus is. However, I'm quite surprised we don't have an iOS 18.5.1 yet to fix all of the bugs we have in iOS 18.5. It's been a long time since we've seen a public release, so I think they're really working hard on 18.6 to make it right. In fact, after installing it, this is the smoothest beta I've seen in a very long time. This feels ready to go, at least just using it the past hour or two. Things such as ProMotion are super smooth. Going in and out of apps are smooth. I haven't seen any animation hiccups. Everything in general is just very good. So that's something that I'm pretty impressed with on this update. However, things such as the wallpaper dimming bug is still a little bit there, but maybe mostly fixed finally, but overall pretty impressive. The phone isn't even warm at all. The heat has been pretty great so far, and maybe they finally got it right with this. Of course, battery life will take some time to tell, and this phone has not been used as my main phone. I've been using iOS 26, but you'll see here, this one, if we go to battery health, I've only got 14 cycles, of course, with 100% capacity on this device. But on my main phone, I'm still almost at 250 cycles at 100%. People have sent me their battery life in iOS 18.6 Beta 1, and they're easily getting 8 to 10 hours of screen on time. So it seems like it's definitely the iOS 17.7.2 of the iOS 18 versions where it's super stable. If we take a look back here, go to General and then iPhone Storage, give it a second to load. Those who are concerned with how much it's taking up, you'll see iOS is taking up a little bit less now with 18.68 gigabytes with a total of Apple Intelligence at 6.28 gigabytes and iOS at 12.4 gigabytes. So it seems like they've shrunk this down even further. When it comes to if you should install iOS 18.6 Beta 2, well, if you're on iOS 18.6 Beta 1, absolutely. If you want to try this out on your main device, so far it seems to be pretty good. I don't typically recommend you try an early beta, but if you're running iOS 18.5 and you're having a lot of issues, it seems 18.6 fixes those. But keep in mind, it is a beta and definitely can have bugs. So you want to make sure you submit any bugs you're having in the feedback app. As far as benchmarks, I wanted to share that as well. I ran them twice. I ran them right after installing it, and then again after it cooled down a little bit, processed in the background, and I have great scores. 3,506 for single core, 8,646 for multi-core. So very good overall compared to what we've had in the past. It seems well within the margin of error, better than most things we've seen in the past. And in general, it's very, very good, very smooth. And of course, it'll take a few days to know what it's like for everyone. But just going into things such as the camera app, going back out, going into music. Things are just very fast and fluid finally. So this is Mercury weather for any of those that are curious, but you'll see everything's just nice and fast. So that's everything in iOS 18.6 Beta 2, mostly a small update for security and getting things right in iOS. So I'm glad to see that, but again, I hope to see those same things carry through to iOS 26. Let me know if you've found anything else in iOS 18.6 Beta 2 in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.